What's good, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am at this point, that means you're new. Go ahead and check out all my older shit. I'm Mark. All right, so today's topic is going to be about lasers. All right. Now, y'all can sit here and, oh, you pointed a gun at the camera. It's my fucking phone. I'll do whatever I want with it. But regardless, the topic today, lasers. All right. Are they really a necessity? Do you need them? I'm going to go over all three of the situations. Girl, you're being too loud and you know it. That's why you lost your toy under that damn couch. I'm going to have to get it for you when the video's done. All right. So, as I was saying, are they a necessity? Are they something you really need? I'm going to go through all three situations I generally cover, which will be home defense, concealed carry, and shit hits the fan, or SHTF. All right. So, we're going to start with home defense. All right. I can see a laser being helpful if it's specifically zeroed in for the distance of where you would need to shoot in a home defense situation. All right, they can be helpful. Now, of course, let me clarify this right now because I know a lot of people, and I am one of these people too, so that's why I have to clarify this, will say, well, of course, a light is more important than a laser. Yes, a light is more important. Me, I'll have both. Light laser combo. That's personally what I would recommend. You get the best of them both. You get a laser, you get a light. Cool. All right, so back to what I was saying though. For home defense, lasers can be helpful if you have a light on them. If you got a light and a laser, yes, it can be extremely helpful. You'll be able to illuminate what you're looking at, and chances are, and if it's an actual intruder, you're gonna be stressing. You might not, you might not sit there and think to aim traditionally like how you would if you have more time. All right, that is just a that's just a simple facts, right? Now, are they a necessity for a home defense situation? Not by any fucking standard. The necessity is a light, as I mentioned before. All right, but if y'all haven't seen that video, I already did that. I can't remember what the title was now for the life of me, but essentially it was a few things that you should have on your home defense pistol. All right, so it's lasers are not a necessity for home defense. No, not by any standard. They can be helpful as long as they're accompanied by a light, but just a laser itself, that's not a necessity. It's not something that's really going to be helpful. The most you may be able to do with a laser is possibly just see the basically the silhouette of whatever you're shining or pointing your gun at. You know what I mean? Whatever you would be putting your laser on is where your gun's pointed at, obviously. So you may essentially just see the silhouette. You may just see that the laser didn't travel, like, for example, right? Let's say, let me take your laser off. All right. All right. So as y'all can see, clearly it's detached, right? Just on laser mode. All right. So yeah, if you're sitting there running the laser, right? I'll have it up there, and you sit there and, oh, wait, it's not over here anymore. It's not as far over there. You can see, yeah, that's about it though, realistically. You don't know what it is. You don't know if it's an actual intruder. If you live with roommates, you don't know if it's your roommate. You don't really get much other than knowing that something is there, which you already kind of knew, because why else would you go out with a gun thinking nothing's there? You see what I mean? So at that point, it just feels like if you were using strictly a laser for home defense, you were really putting yourself at a huge disadvantage. So I would definitely not recommend them for a home defense, or at least I wouldn't recommend them by themselves for home defense. So, but a light and laser combo like how I have here can be very helpful, 100%, no doubt. Illuminate what you're looking at, and if you're in such a high stress point of time, which most likely will be, that you don't think about aiming, at least a laser, if it's zeroed in properly, will, give you an insight, or at least a good idea of what you're aiming, not what you're aiming at, but where you're aiming at. Now let's move on to concealed carry, for example, right? So concealed carry, I really don't think a laser is in any form of necessity. All right. Now, once again, it can be helpful, but in a concealed carry, I really believe that it's going to be more harm than good. And here's why. With lasers, just like red dot optics, You know, you have to zero, just like any fucking sights, really. You have to zero them in. All right. Any form of, aiming, it takes a level of zeroing. You have to make sure that your laser is zeroed to the distance you would be aiming. You know what I mean? You don't know what distance you're going to be in a self-defense encounter outside of your home. You just don't. That is the truth of the matter. You really don't. Um, and hell, if you're going to sit here and be like, oh, he's just going to say get a light for concealed carry, I don't even recommend a light for concealed carry realistically. You don't need to. All right. Concealed carrying is about being more concealed, you know. But back to what I was saying. For the lasers, concealed carrying is definitely not an optimal choice due to the simple matter of fact that you have zero idea what distance the encounter will take place at. No matter what it could be, you could have it zeroed in at, you know, 5 yards, right? A yard is 3 feet, I believe, so it's about 15 feet, right? Have it zeroed in at 10 yards, whatever, all right? The encounter may happen at a separate distance. That's just the truth of the matter. All right, you have zero idea which encounter you are going to be in. You may have a general idea, but you don't have a specific idea unless you're planning on going to do something. You know what I mean? Which, if you're planning on doing something, chances are it's not going to be legal. You know what I mean? If you're planning on defending yourself, that's a different situation, but you guys know what I mean. All right, so I'm not recommending anything illegal. I just have to clarify that right now. Lasers, though, all in all, for concealed carry, they're not something I would recommend in any way, shape, or form. This is probably going to be a shorter video. I do want to give you guys that heads up. But lasers definitely not a necessity. They're not something that you have to have for a concealed carry situation. You don't know what distance, the threat is going to be at. You have zero idea. All right. No one wants to admit it, but hell, you may just be shopping for some food, right? And then a mass shooter comes in. We saw it happen. So you guys get what I'm getting at here? It doesn't make sense to sit here and need something that's zeroed at a specific distance for a for a situation that you have zero idea what distance is going to be needed to be zero for. That's the best way to explain it. For SHTF, I really, really, really don't recommend using a laser. I really don't. They're just, and I kind of feel a similar way about optics for an SHTF situation. Like for at least for pistols, I feel like optics in an SHTF probably aren't going to be helpful. I believe though that with an SHTF situation, once again, it falls right under the same situation of a concealed carry. You don't know where the threat is going to be at specifically. Unless you're planning the to handle the threat before it can even happen, which generally is something you should do for like a home defense thing. You all right, girl? Which is generally something you should do for a home defense thing. All right, that's just the truth of the matter. All right. Home defense, you can plan out the distance based off of your home. Concealed carry nor SHTF, neither of them, you can't do that. You have no idea what range it's going to be happening. You have no idea what range of distance a situation would happen in either of those cases. Not to mention for an SHTF, chances are electricity isn't going to be a guaranteed thing, So charging up your red dots, it's going to be, not your red dots, I'm sorry, your lasers. Look, y'all can sit here and be like, oh, he's a dumbass. He confused lasers with red dot optics. I listen to rap music. You hear people talking about, oh, I got the red dot. They're not talking about a red dot optic. They're talking about a laser. So confused myself for a second. But all right, long story short is that charging up your lasers is not going to be a guaranteed thing that you'll be able to do. You know what I mean? Now, you may say, oh, yeah, well, there are some that, and I don't even know if this is true to be real with you guys. So I might just be wrong on this. If I'm wrong, go ahead and tell me. But I'm sure there's going to be that one guy who's swearing, oh, yeah, there's some that, there's some lasers that get charged through, specific types of batteries. Okay, cool. Do you plan on having an infinite amount of those? Because if not, it eventually is going to do you no good. That is just the truth of the matter. You know what I mean? So overall, lasers really just yeah, they're cool. They are. I won't add a couple of pros in here because I don't want people thinking I've just been sitting here shitting on lasers. They are cool. All right, they're real fun to play with, no doubt. Obviously, don't play with them on your gun. Don't play with guns, especially if they're loaded. I mean, it's there. Look, I play with my guns. Let me rephrase that. All right, you know, as long as y'all are careful with guns, all right. I'm not gonna say don't play with them, but obviously don't fucking point no shit at yourself. I don't know why, but I have a good feeling I have to say this just so that way if anybody does any stupid shit like that, you can't blame it on me. All right. So as I was saying though, for a couple of pros, they are fun to play with. Lasers are fun to play with. They're cool range toys for sure. You know what I mean? It's definitely if you go to the range and you're like, you know what, I'm just going there because I'm just trying to kill some time. Okay, yeah, you can sit there, you know, spend a little bit of time just zeroing your laser, make sure it's all good. You know what I mean? And you could even sit there and see, you know, it's not going to be accurate if it's not zeroed at a, you know, certain distance, right? So let's say you have it zeroed for 10 yards, right? But you put the target out to 20 yards. What you could also do is just sit there and see how inaccurate it'll be. You know what I mean? Try to plan accordingly if the threat is further than the distance you have a 0-2 away. Now, that won't be a guaranteed, but that is definitely something that I would probably get bored and try to do if I was at the range just killing some time. You know what I mean? So, quick overview home defense. They can be helpful, but by themselves, no. Concealed carry, not really optimal. Uh, SHTF, same situation, not really optimal. They are fun range toys and they are fun to play with, though. There is no doubt about that. You know what I mean? Who doesn't love a good laser just sitting around? You know, yeah, it's fun. All right. But if y'all have any other opinions on lasers, go ahead and comment them down below. Once again, if y'all haven't seen my other videos, go ahead and check them out. Go ahead and check out Adam's channel. Go ahead and check out the podcast channel, Centerfire Podcast. I'm going to go ahead and tag both of those in the description below as I do other than that. Excuse me, every time. Other than that, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell, and you better hit it with some fucking force. All right. I'm back with a vengeance to bring y'all some more videos. Y'all stay safe. Y'all have a good one. Remember to stay safe, stay legal, stay dangerous. Peace.